Hello, and welcome back to the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. As you know, my name is Nicole, and I'm so excited to be here today with you with Shannon. And I love the way that Shannon puts puts her whole thing, how she's the producer of her life, right? So talk to me a little bit, Shannon. Tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your story and who you help.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with you. So I am a mom, first and foremost, of two little boys. But I began my career as a television producer. And then I decided to pivot, start my second act, and I opened my first franchise business and then a coaching business. And now I run Second Act Success Career Coaching, where I coach women on how to move from a corporate job they might not feel as aligned to anymore into creating a business of their own.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. About my business or
Yes.
about okay. So I just realized that when I made the switch from a television career into opening my first business, I was completely alone. I was struggling. I had quite a few missteps along the way of trying different things and it not feeling right. So it took me a while. And then when I was really in my first business, a lot of people would ask me, "How did you go from this to that?" And I just realized that a lot of women, especially, feel stuck when they choose a career at 20 and then now we're in midlife maybe or have children or have a partner and our life feels a little bit different that you feel, oh, maybe this career just doesn't fit me anymore or you feel a little stuck, and that's a really scary place to be. I know I've been there. And so I felt like, you know what, maybe there is something that I can do to help women feel like they're seen and that they have an accountability partner, and that's where my coaching business started, of really just helping women realize that you can get unstuck and you can find something even more fulfilling in this second act of your life, if you just take that leap.
I love that so much. And so can you tell us a little bit about how you were able to overcome yourself and go from having this TV producer job, which sounds like a dream, to now having this coaching business, which is also a dream, right?
Yes, very lucky. Yeah, being a television producer was like a dream of mine since I was a very little girl. I just knew I wanted to be in Hollywood and do something in the entertainment industry. And I think when I had my second son, I was then now living in New York City at the time, and I realized I had missed my oldest son's first birthday, Halloween. I was just traveling and I was working just too much. That when I was about to have my second child, I realized, you know what? I can check the box on television. I felt like it was a mindset shift of like, you know what? My career is not my identity. I've had this career that was a dream of mine, but I checked the box. I accomplished it. What else can I do? And that's where I think a lot of people feel like their personality, their identity is wrapped up in what you do for work, and I want to change that because I think you can move to something else. Like, I can still say I'm a television producer because if Oprah called, I could go work with her tomorrow. You take every part of yourself with you to the next. And so I think for me, when I was in that place of trying to figure out what else I can do with a newborn and a 3-year-old, it was very lonely and it was hard. And it took me a lot of soul searching to realize, okay, this is what I did as a television producer. I took this idea for a show and I brought it to screen. And in the interim, I hired staff, I oversaw, I wrote scripts, I dealt with talent, I marketed, I pitched, and I started writing down everything that I had done. And I was like, I think I can produce a business of my own, produce my own life. And it was a confidence boost to look at it that way, kind of have that shift to say, you know what, I can do something else. And once I shifted my mindset, I think that's when everything kind of fell into place. And I was able to take the leap and open a franchise and build it and, see what came from there. But it was really that mindset that I think was the biggest hurdle to overcome when I was thinking about a change.
Wow, that is amazing. And I talk about in my book how we can't, like, we have to be very careful when we define success or we define our identity, because if all, like, your entire identity is being a mom, like, what
Mhm.
happens when your kids grow up and they leave the house and now your whole identity was tied into that? Or you tie up your whole identity in a job and then one day you get fired because 2008 happened, and then people just
Yeah.
you know what I mean. And so what do we do then? And so I think it's so important to talk about that identity and how these are not our identity. They're different roles, they're different hats that we put on, that help empower our identity, right? So, like, the things you learned as a TV producer, you don't just tuck them away and put them away somewhere and then go on. You take those lessons, just like I take lessons from when I worked in restaurants, right? And like, I'm really fast in the kitchen and, I can do a bunch of things at once because that's how you had to be in the restaurants, right? So I want to know though, if you could give us some tips, some TV production tips that you've carried over into your life. Like, how can we be more of a producer in our own life? What does it mean to be a producer?
Mm, I think it's being organized and really, again, taking that idea and bringing it to life and saying, okay, what do I want to do in this next act of my life? Can I do it? What skills do I have? What skills do maybe I have that I'm good at, but I don't want to do anymore? Right? Really
Mhm,
allowing yourself to create this next version of yourself and
mhm.
really taking everything from your past and helping you move forward from where you are to where you want to be. And I think it's that being organized, that self reflection and self awareness of, so many of us, especially as moms, we don't take that time to ask ourselves how we're feeling, to ask ourselves, like, are we okay? And I think when you can turn inside, you can get honest with yourself and you can realize that maybe something isn't right. And then that's where you're organizing your ideas, maybe your wants with your experience, putting it together, and then doing that research. Because I've had clients come to me with 10 different ideas of a kind of business that they want to start. And as we start researching what the day to day of those businesses really looks like, they say, oh, no, 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 that's not what I want. Or I'm not a numbers person. Or and so you can cross things off then and you can narrow down to what really feels like it can fit you. So I think it's being organizing, talking to yourself, and then doing that research because I do believe that research equals confidence. And once you're confident, then nothing can stop you. Then the naysayers go away and your imposter syndrome lessons and you can take that leap into your next chapter.
I love that. And just a reminder for our audience, the producers are the ones that make everything happen, right? They're the ones that lead the charge. They're the ones that get the directors, and they're like, "Hey, we need people. So we need someone to staff, we need someone to cast people, and then we need someone to dress these people, and we need
Mhm.
a set, and we need cameras, and we need people that can operate booms, and we need all of these different things, people to bring in lunch. Who's going to bring lunch because we can't have everybody leaving, right? Who's going to be setting the schedule? Who's going to be making sure that the trailers get put up? Like, there's so many things. And when we think about that as women, that's what we do in our life, right? Like, we
Yes.
have so many different responsibilities that we oversee, between being the taxi driver, and we have to be the cook, and we have to be the maid, and we have to be the gardener, and we have to be, the pet walker, and right? Like, even before you have kids, there's so many. And then we haven't even talked about business. Like,
Right.
now we've got social media, now whatever it is that you actually do, now you got to do blog posts and the podcast, and oh my God. And so looking at your life and being like, how can I be the producer of this? How can
Mhm.
I outsource what needs to be outsourced? Like, I'm not going to dress the cast because I don't know anything about going shopping. I don't want to be on Amazon. I don't want to be looking on TikTok and finding these businesses that are amazing, but that's just not my vibe. Like, I need somebody else to do
Mhm.
that, right?
Right, right.
Yeah. And same thing in your life. Like, what if that means A lot of people look like chores. We talk about outsourcing chores, but what does that actually look like for you in your house? Does that mean having someone come in once a week and just cleaning the whole thing, and just doing the
Mhm.
floors, making sure that all the laundry's done, making sure that all the counters, like everything is clear, making sure that all the dishes are washed? Or does it look like having someone in your house every single day? And when it comes to movies, right, there's a lot of planning, but when it comes to our lives, there's a lot of planning we can do too. What if you do
Mhm.
research and you find out that you totally can't afford someone to come into your house, and that hour that you pay someone 50, $100, and that hour or two, now you're producing episodes for your podcast, or you're doing something that actually fulfills you, or even like doing stuff with your kids, like taking them to the park. And now you're free to
Right.
do that. And that is so much more meaningful than I'm sweeping and I'm
I
mopping and
know.
I'm cleaning the bathroom, right? And so I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree
yes,
completely. That's such a great like connection between being a mom and being a producer. And even if it's systems around your house, right? Like sometimes
yes,
it's just letting the kids know what chores they have so that you can take a step back or that you
it's
know what?
outsourcing.
Yeah.
It's outsourcing.
Exactly. So yeah, I love that.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, because it's such a cool picture, right? And then you can just imagine yourself like in the old, like the Hollywood style, you know?
Yeah,
And you can just be
exactly.
like, all right, we need someone on lights, someone doing the dishes. I need someone out in the garden. I need someone to mow the lawn. Let's make this happen, people. Come on,
Yeah,
lights up, right?
exactly. Getting it
Yeah.
done.
I love that. You could have so much fun with it. All right.
Mhm.
So I want to know, because one of the big things that my book is about, what I teach my clients when we're talking about mindset is gratitude. So I want to know what part gratitude played in your journey of this transformation as you became a coach.
Mm, Gratitude played everything because I think I was able to be very grateful for everything I had done. And I am to this day, like, so thankful to my parents for helping me pursue my dream. I was the first in my family to go to college and leave my state and my town and be that black sheep. And I'm grateful to them. And then I'm grateful that I accomplished my childhood dream. And and I think because of that gratitude, it allowed me to say, okay, I can take this, put it up on the shelf. Let's see what else I can do. And that's where gets me excited because I want to now start a million businesses and do a million things because you can see, you look back and go, wow, I did that. And I was able to change and do something else that helps people. And I think just living in that gratitude, like you said, it fulfills you in a way that nothing else can. And you just say, I'm so grateful. Let me see what else I can do so that I can give back. And for me, I'm able to share in the joys with my parents and be present with my kids now with the businesses that I've created. And I think that's just more than you could ever want.
Yes, of course. And you're leading by example. So I think that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even my
Make it
kids, I tell them, you can choose whatever career path, but have a business on the side. Have something that you truly control. And I think we see that now with what's happening with so many layoffs across the country. Like you want to have something that gives you a little bit of power, a little bit of that upper hand, if possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And how, like, why would you not? Like, we have it's not like it even was like 20 years ago, 50
No.
years ago. Like, you don't have to go out and do all this stuff. Like, get on social media and start doing something, right? Like, you can do affiliate links, like, you can sell shirts,
Yes.
like, if you have art, like, there's so many opportunities that are available to us. Yeah, I think that is amazing.
Mm.
So much fun. And that's what I was gonna say is I love your outlook of it sounds like you made it sound fun, like you were gamifying it. And
Mm.
you're like, all right, we're done with this game.
Yeah.
So what do I want to do next? Like what is gonna be the next fun adventure that we're gonna have? Um, because it is scary. And so we have to literally control our narrative, right? And make sure that we're focusing on what we can change, right? And sometimes I find myself spiraling. I'm like, okay, but what can I do? What can I do? What do I need to focus on? Right? And if it's like a money situation, okay, thinking about that, Nicole, it's not going to help you. What you need to do
Right.
is you need to go make money. And so let's focus on that, and then this problem will go away. But don't think about it anymore. You got to get the money. And then once the money's there, or whatever it is, right? Like I need to pay
Yes.
attention to this right now. And then the big domino, right? And
Hmm.
then all the other ones can fall. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about how my audience can get in touch with you.
Sure. Yes. My website is secondactsuccess.co and everything's there. How to work with me, my new book that's coming out in May, which I'm so excited about, my free resources, my podcast, everything is at secondactsuccess.co.
That is awesome. And you did mention you had told me that you have your book coming out. Amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so
And
much.
you did mention that there is a gift that matches with your book that you had talked to me about that is available on that resource page. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so the book is called Start Your Second Act. So it's really what I teach my clients. It's all about just making that leap into whatever you want your second act to be. And so the free download, the gift there is a second act journal where you can take all the ideas in your head, put them down, and really start working through them. And you can get that at secondactsuccess.co/resource or /book.
That is amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey to writing this book? Like, how did you come to doing this?
Yeah, again, I've wanted to write a book since I was really little. That was another childhood dream. You too, yeah. And I wanted to write fiction. And about a little over a year ago, I started taking some writing classes and getting ideas. And then I was like, you know what? I want to do one that is based on my business first, because I feel like a book is a way for people who aren't going to work with you one on one to really get the help that they need or the inspiration. And so a little over a year ago, yeah, I started writing the book. I am self publishing, but working with an amazing team at Book Launchers. And they've been really helping me with all of, say, kind of like that, like a coach, having that accountability partner of all the elements to get the book launched. And yeah, I'm beyond proud of it. And I'm so excited for May 7th when it comes out finally.
That is amazing. Well, I'm proud of you. I'm so
Thank you.
excited for you. Like that is just such an accomplishment.
Thank
I've got
you.
my book with the editor, so it'll be out soon, hopefully as well. So I
Ooh, I can't
know,
wait.
thanks. I know that journey, like how amazing that journey can be, and how many steps and how many things that it takes to bring it to life. So I commend you
Yeah.
for that.
I don't think a lot of people know how many steps. So you're in the thick of it with me, and it's like a million things to think about on top of the creative part of it. So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, but you know what? I also think it's so worth it because I mean, as you if you can tell behind me, my
Yes.
book collection, that's how I've gotten the opportunity to spend time with a lot of my mentors.
Mm.
And there's just nothing quite like it, right? Because like they're sitting here in my house. And so whenever I want to hear from one of them, I can open up the book and I can be like, okay, well, what advice do you have, right? And
Yes.
I want to gain real estate on someone's bookshelf too, right? So that I
Mm.
can help them when they're ready.
Yeah.
And it just cuts through the noise. So I think that's just fantastic that you've written a book. So
You
congrats
too. And
again.
I want your book on my bookshelf. So you let me
Oh, I
know when
love
it
it.
comes out and I will buy it right away.
Yay, thank you so much. I definitely will. Okay, so we've talked about how to get in touch with you. So now I want to know, what is your big tip? Like, what is that one tip that just creates that change for your clients that you advise everyone?
Is do that research. Just take whatever idea, even if it feels super far fetched, and sit with it and do research. Look at other people who are already working in that role or own that business and really see how it feels. Like, sit with it, see if you can see yourself in that role. And by doing that, I feel like that's where the confidence comes. And then you can take those baby steps to get there. And even if you're working and you're earning that paycheck, you can start doing that research and putting those pieces in place so that when you have that confidence and you're ready to take the leap full time, you've already put everything else in place. So it can be done without causing all the chaos in your life. And your second act can be pretty methodical if you let it.
Absolutely. And like we
Mhm.
were talking about this online world, makes it so that you can do both at the same time. Like, if that's an option for you. Because if you focus and you get just laser focused on the activities that move the needle, it doesn't take you that long. It doesn't take that many hours. And so if you are really, like you said, think about it, do the research, get down to like, what is the smallest step that I can take? And do it now. Like, don't wait to quit your job. that is
Right, right.
that is really scary, but you can start it now and start doing those things. I love that. I love that so much.
Mhm.
So thank you so much, Shannon, for being here with us. This has been absolutely fantastic. And we will see you online. So thank you guys as well for joining us. And we will see you next time on the next episode of Overcome Yourself, the podcast. Bye.